So a couple of you have been asking for my opinion on NBC's brand new reality dating show, Couple to Throuple. And just from the title alone, I'm sure you're thinking various things like, why is there focus on throuples when there are so many different types of polyamory? And, oh, I wonder how they're going to handle the couple privilege. And I bet this is going to be a fucking train wreck. And you would be absolutely right to think those things. Full disclosure, I did get some preview screeners from NBC, so I had a couple more days to watch the first 3 episodes of this new show than the general public. And I have a lot of thoughts, mostly negative thoughts. Just by the way, I'm going to make this a spoiler-free review, partly because, not all the episodes are out yet, partly because, I would love for you to watch the show and kind of tell me what you think of it. And because, my thoughts on the show are less about the individual characters and more about just the whole format of the show and how fucking broken it is. If you haven't seen the show yet, this is safe to watch. I do want to preface this by saying what I've said before about kind of just polyamorous representation in the media in general, which is that, representation essentially has to be bad before it gets good. We saw this with, LGBTQIA plus relationships, and now we're kind of seeing this with polyamory. I feel like it's kind of going through its weird, growth phase, where they're trying some new things. A lot of it isn't working, and I think they need to learn from their mistakes before they can do it well. I definitely think that this show is full of mistakes. Just from the get-go, right? Just the concept of the show is obviously very couple-centric and also very throuple-centric. Throuples actually make up not as big of a percentage of the polyamorous community as people might think. Different dynamics just grow at different rates and grow in different ways, and having those separate has been generally better for me. But, that's my opinion. And I think the show is very couple-centric because it's very much, focused on the couples experimenting with polyamory and the couples opening up their relationship rather than, 3 people co-creating a relationship together where everyone's needs are equally considered. And when NBC reached out to me, they actually asked that I, promote the show, review the show, and I was like, look, I cannot guarantee that I will like this show. A lot of us polyamorous creators have various feelings about the format of this show in the first place. If you're open to feedback, I will give some, but no guarantees I will review this in a positive way because the show has issues. So that's kind of some background info. Anyway, just to get to the format of this show, what I expected from a show like Couple to Throuple was a kind of bachelorette style thing where, instead of one person dating multiple people and then kind of picking one to give a roast to or whatever at the end, I thought it was going to be a couple, kind of shopping around, right? Getting to go on dates with multiple different singles and then, at the end being like, oh, they were the person that we vibe the most with and we'd like to kind of take it further, right? No such thing. On this show, within the first episode, the couples have to pick a third person to throuple up with, and they're essentially, just fast-tracked into their relationship. They see how it works out, and if the third person doesn't live up to the couple's expectations, amazing, they can be swapped out for any of the other unicorns on the market at any time. What a wonderful arrangement that only benefits the couple. Firstly, I feel like the entire concept of this show is a bit fucked, because if the whole point of polyamory is that you can date multiple people at the same time, why are they restricting the couples to dating only one unicorn at a time? This makes no fucking sense. Secondly, why are the thirds, the unicorns, not getting a say in any of this stuff, right? The couple are really calling the shots here, and the couple have each other to kind of talk to and discuss about all of this stuff. Well, the unicorns are just kind of left in the cold, completely alone with no social support on this random-ass island, to be, used as experiments and discarded at will. And thirdly, everything is moving way too fucking fast. They meet the thirds, all the potential singles, they pick one, and that night, they're all sharing a bed, and they're all sharing a room, and they're spending all of their time together. I know that they make the relationship super intensive just for drama reasons, but also the couple have had history together, right? And that is already putting them at a massive advantage, right? Over the third person, whereas the third person is very vulnerable coming into the situation. They need to get to know 2 people at the same time, so they're not on equal footing as it is. So I feel like they were really setting everyone up for failure by being like, okay, this couple have barely tried open relationships in the past. We're just gonna like get them to pick a person and throw them headfirst into the deep end of their relationship, and suddenly, you know, they're just all up in each other's space. The unicorn has a lot more to lose than the couple. You know, this is gonna work out well. And so, yeah, I didn't love that. So there were a number of things that were just wrong with the model of how they were doing this show in the first place. As to how things actually end up playing out, you know, everything went wrong as I would expect it to go wrong. You know, the couples had a lot of feelings, the thirds were disregarded. There was a situation where, like, the couple were clearly in the wrong, and, you know, the third person kind of brought up their grievances in a very compassionate way to the couple, and, you know, were kind of dismissed and criticized, and you know, the third actually ended up having to apologize to the couple for causing a fuss, only to get dumped and swapped out for another third. So that was not great, and it was really reflective of just the lack of compassion and self-reflection that the couples had. You know, like they were like, you know, it's my way or the highway, and, you know, get with the program or, you know, you're out. People were not on the same page about kind of what they expected out of this dynamic. Like, you know, some of the people were like, I'm just here to have fun and kind of try things out, kind of no expectations. And some people were like, yeah, you know, I want to kind of co-create a relationship. I'm kind of committed to like working through the conflict and kind of making space for each other and each other's relationships and things. And kind of this disconnect led to a lot of arguments. And I also think that some of the couples were just simply not prepared for the reality of the situation. You know, the couples who like seemed most secure at the start were the ones who were like crumbling to pieces. Like there was a lot of ego death, I guess, to be explored. It was a ride. It was a ride for sure. Having said that, there were some positives to this show. In between, like, you know, all the shenanigans, the couples are asked to do some exercises together to, like, strengthen their relationship, to talk about difficult things. And yeah, essentially there's, like, a therapist on the site who, like, you know, does some kind of guided exercises with them. Some of them were actually quite good. I thought there was a really good jealousy exercise where they were kind of testing the boundaries of their relationship and learning to speak up and say no and safe word when they were uncomfortable and talking through their feelings. No one was made out to be the bad guy, you know, everyone was very open, and I thought that was great. How it was still very couple-centric, it was still very much focused on the couple's feelings rather than like how the thirds felt, like when, like, you know, say like they were kissing someone and then their partner was like, no, objection, and they had to just stop and, you know, just stand there. You know, I wish there'd been more focus on them. But in terms of like, yeah, furthering the growth of the couple and getting them to like, you know, just express difficult feelings, I thought that was quite good. And there was another exercise where they talk about jealousy. They like delve into like past situations where they felt jealousy and they learn to kind of work on it or release it and things. That was brilliant. I really loved that. I really hope that in subsequent episodes they're going to do more exercises involving like the three people instead of just the couple, because, you know, like obviously the thirds are the ones who actually have polyamorous experience. But it's still important to have them in the room rather than kind of be making decisions about them without them. But yeah, like I think, you know, whatever kind of helps the couples get over their internalized monogamy and all that shit is, in my book, a good thing. And, you know, that was actually just really nice and heartwarming to see that they were like actually kind of supporting the couples to like, you know, get over some shit. I also liked that there was some interaction between the singles. Like at one point, you know, two of the thirds who had kind of been discarded by their couples, like they like have a little bit of a flirt. Yeah, like that was kind of really interesting to see, and like, you know, discussions between them about like how they felt about their respective couples and like how they were just feeling about the dynamics in general was really interesting. And I think there needs to be more coverage of that, like just how thirds can potentially get fucked over in these arrangements. Yeah, like but I'm guessing they probably didn't have too much of that, because otherwise, you know, it would just reveal how fucking broken the entire concept of the show is. But I hope to be surprised. Anyway, those are my initial thoughts having seen the first 3 episodes of Couple to Throuple. That leaves a lot to be desired. Some of the therapy exercises were good, but really that was its only redeeming factor. However, I will still keep watching because I'm hopeful that things will get slightly better, that, you know, these couples will go on a growth journey and learn to be, you know, somewhat self-aware of the risks that, you know, these lovely unicorns are kind of taking to be on this show in the first place and to guide them on their journeys. And I wish that everyone was just a bit more on the same page. Like, you know, those poor unicorns, like, they were walking in looking for love, and all they got was just, you know, being objectified and treated like sex toys, and, you know, being discarded when, you know, their feelings were too big for the couple to handle and shit. You know, I feel really bad for them, and honestly, like, they're really getting shafted on this show, and you know, like, just like in real life, anyone who just willingly signs up to be a unicorn, I applaud you, I commend you, I could fucking never. So yeah, let me know your thoughts, let me know if you will be watching. Maybe I'll do a reaction video to the future episodes. Who knows? Let me know what your predictions are for future episodes. Let me know what you think.